In a dry and dusty town where sand danced across empty streets and the sky stretched wide and still, there lived a tattered old kite. It had once been brilliant, its fabric stitched with fiery reds and sky blues, its tail ribboned like a comet's trail. But now it hung forgotten on the wooden wall of a crumbling shed, its corners frayed and its colours faded by sun. The kite's name was Tavi. Tavi had not flown in years, not because he didn't want to, but because the wind, once his closest companion, had long since abandoned the desert town. The breezes that once skipped through alleys and raced across rooftops had packed their bags and disappeared, leaving behind silence and stillness. Yet every evening, as the sun bled gold into the dunes, Tavi looked to the sky and dreamed of soaring again. Most people had given up on flying kites here. No wind, they'd shrug. No chance. But in a small, clay-walled house at the edge of town, there lived a girl named Lila who didn't believe in giving up. Lila had wild curls and eyes full of sun, and she loved anything that dared to rise: balloons, birds, bubbles. And one day, while exploring the old shed behind her school, she found Tavi. She took him home, gently dusted off the sand, and whispered, "I'll help you fly again." Tavi's old wooden frame trembled, not from fear, but hope. For weeks, Lila tried everything. She ran with him across dunes, hoping her speed would be enough. But without wind, Tavi only dragged along the sand. She climbed trees and leapt from branches, letting him drop behind her. But he fluttered down like a tired leaf. The other children watched and giggled. "You can't fly a kite here," they said. "It's impossible." But Lila only smiled. "Not if we find another way." At night, she studied books about flight. She sketched ideas on scraps of paper, pulley systems, levers, even a backpack of balloons. She scavenged through junkyards for old bicycle parts and discarded umbrellas. Her room became a jungle of wires and fabric, springs and ropes. Tavi watched it all from his perch near the window. Though his frame creaked and his stitches pulled, he dared to hope again. He had never seen someone so determined to make the sky reachable. Finally, on a morning when the desert air hung thick and still, Lila wheeled out her invention. It was a strange contraption, a cart with pedals and a fan powered by gears, with Tavi strapped to a long pole that curved like a wing above her. The whole town gathered to watch. "You'll crash," someone called. "She's wasting her time," another muttered, but Lila simply grinned, placed her feet on the pedals and began to move. The fan sputtered, then spun, then roared. Dust kicked up in her wake. Tavi tugged behind her, unsure, uncertain, and then with a sudden lift he rose, just a little. Lila pedaled harder, sweat glistening on her brow. The fan's wind surged behind her, and Tavi jerked, flapped, and, miracle of miracles, caught the air. He soared, not high, not far, but above her head, straining against the string with everything he had. For the first time in years, he was no longer grounded. The crowd gasped, children cheered. Some adults shook their heads in disbelief. Lila didn't stop. She rode in circles, lifting Tavi higher with each pass. He danced in the fan-made breeze, casting a ribboned shadow on the sand below. The sky, once indifferent, now watched in wonder. After a long, glorious ride, the pedals slowed. The cart stopped. Lila stepped off, breathless and beaming, as Tavi gently drifted down into her waiting arms. "You flew," she whispered, hugging him close. "We flew." Tavi didn't need to answer. His stitches fluttered like laughter in the light breeze, one that might have been real, or might have come from Lila's heart. From that day on, the girl and her kite became legends in the town. Children built their own flying contraptions, inspired by Lila's design. Kites once again danced over rooftops, even when the sky was still. People learned that sometimes, when the world gives you no wind, you build your own. And Tavi? He hung proudly in Lila's room when not flying, his colours brighter than ever. For a kite that had once given up on the sky, he had found something greater than wind. He had found someone who believed.